We're live now. Fuck off, Dustin.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. All right. Welcome to another Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture podcast. We got a lot to go over today. Probably mostly starting with some Orioles baseball, I think is what we have first on our rundown today.
Yeah.
Decent little weekend for the Orioles, minus one little mishap with the bullpen. Ended up coming out. I mean, the Royals are giving people a lot of trouble, it seems like. And they almost feel like the Orioles from last year a little bit. Them and the Brewers, they're just scrappy. But yeah, you guys watch any of the games this weekend? What were your thoughts, takeaways?
I like that you mentioned that the Royals are kind of like us last year. I think they rank second in the league right now behind us in base running aggressiveness or runs gained base running. And they're first in the league in defensive runs saved. So I think that's a good comp. Last year, I think we won a lot of games because of our aggressive base running, because of our good defense. It seems like Bobby Witt is an emerging star. Every time he comes up, it seems like he's doing something at the plate. And I can't believe Salvador Perez he's like Livan Hernandez. He's the new ageless wonder. He's like 40 years old and he's the best he's ever been. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have Bartolo Colon, but he's a catcher in Salvador Perez. I can't believe he's 33. I think he's reverse aging. He might be Benjamin Button. But the Royals do remind me a lot of the Orioles last year. Bobby Witt Jr. scares the shit out of me. They are very, very good, and they're an emerging team, and I dig it. And I enjoy watching the Orioles play the Royals because it's two low-market teams or minor market teams, for lack of a better term, and they're kicking ass, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, do we think it's sustainable with their roster? I don't really think they're going to keep it up, but nobody thought that about the Orioles either last year. But I don't know, man. I think it was Webb that said in an interview over the weekend, like Webb or somebody else said it reminds them of the Orioles last year, and that it's just annoying to face them. They're just super annoying. Like they never go away. Like they just keep fucking grinding. So I pulled that as a good comp. Them and it seems like the Brewers are kind of on a similar path as well. So that's why one of the things that I was kind of, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw some ranting by me this weekend. One of the reasons why I'm not terribly upset about what's going on right now, whereas there's a lot of people calling for, believe it or not, Elias and Hyde and saying that they're not a good GM or not a good manager or.
Did you just call him Elias? Elias?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Twitter right now and call you out for calling him fucking Elias.
Yeah. So Elias, they were just like sitting there saying like how he's a bad GM. All he can do is draft. He has no feel. Like they won't go out and pick anybody up or anything like that. And it's like, why are we questioning this right now after they just like he didn't have any freedom to do any of this stuff until January 1st of 2024. Like he built the team through the draft. And then right after we got new ownership, he went out and picked up Corbin Burns, who's a perennial Cy Young candidate. So, I mean, I get it. It was a 1 year. I mean, we have a 1 year deal with him right now, I believe. So, but I mean, I don't get it.
It's the same kind of thinking that it's like if you said Billy Beane wasn't aggressive enough because he didn't sign free agents. It's just like he didn't have the opportunity to. He didn't have any money. He had to build through another way. You know what I mean? So we had to build because of our lack of resources. We had to build through the draft and develop young talent. And we've been the best team at that in Major League Baseball over the course of the last 5 years. So if you're upset that we haven't gone out and signed free agents, look to the ownership. Don't look to the general manager because you know he wants to spend money. It's not his money.
Very simplistic. Shut the fuck up. We have a good team. We haven't had a good team for 20 years. Shut the fuck up. Just enjoy what you have.
Yeah. The whole AL East is over 500, and we're a half game out of the lead. Yeah, it's early in the year. We're half game behind the Yankees, who have one of the biggest payrolls in the league.
We're a half game back, and we haven't really clicked yet. I mean, one night the offense will click, and one night we'll get a great start and like pick up the offense, and one night, as we saw, like the bullpen will just fucking implode. But luckily, our offense picked them up. But again, like it's a good side. Do we want to peak in April right now? I mean, no. And that's the other thing I was saying as well. Like we just played the Royals and the Brewers, who are two of the hottest teams in baseball.
And
at the moment when we were playing them, so we didn't lose a series. We actually just won the series. I mean, as ugly as it was, and I mean, a great start yesterday by Cole Irvin, which was awesome for him to put his name in there to stay in the rotation, hopefully.
He shut my ass up. I called his ass out last week.
Yeah, you did. Do you think baseball?
Good for him for shoving it in my face.
Do you think baseball enjoys all these lower market teams being good?
I do. I think everyone likes rooting for the underdog.
I think. I think it's a double-edged sword because obviously you want the owners to be incentivized to spend money. So, like, the guy who owns the Oakland A's can't just look at the Orioles and be like, oh, we can have a small payroll and still compete. Yeah, you could if you have everything go right for 5 straight years. You know what I mean? But it's a good thing and a bad thing because it's a good thing for lower market teams to be able to compete, but it's a bad thing because some owners might look at their teams and try to build ways that is not going to work for them, or they don't have the personnel to build their team the way the Orioles did.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like if I'm Rob Manfred and I'm sitting in my chair, sitting in my throne, and I'm thinking if I'm going to grow the game, do I want the Orioles and the Brewers and the Reds and the Pirates to be your marquee teams that you're showcasing? And the answer probably is no.
I mean, with the young talent
I'm biased.
It's a short term. Yeah, short term, it's not going to be great because ratings are not going to be good for the Brewers Orioles as opposed to like Braves Yankees. But in the long term, when you're developing these organizations as legitimate threats, then like i.e. Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors weren't on the NBA map for 15 years in the early 2000s, and then all of a sudden they get Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, and now they're like one of the highest valued franchises in all of sports. So it can be a good thing in the long run. You just have to develop the talent and develop you have to market the smaller market teams the way you market the big market teams because you want to grow the game in general.
Well, and here's the thing: some of the most exciting young talent that are coming up right now are on these teams, and like people are wanting to watch them now, which is kind of cool. So I think it's good. I mean, I think it's going well, and honestly, we don't know where this team is going to be as far as spending goes here in the future because it sounds like put your money where your mouth is. We don't know yet. It's so new, but like the new ownership, the comments that they've made, it seems like if a move is needed, they're going to go make the move. They're ready to win and they want to win now. By all intents and purposes, from what we have seen from all the press conferences, Twitter, everything like that. So, I mean, we'll see. We don't know that yet, but I mean, we might be one of those teams that are spenders now. Who knows? Yeah. So, I don't know. So, for example, like back to my beginning rant, there's a tweet that came out. It says, "Man, if you think it's not it's not Elias's problem to build an acceptable bullpen, then what the fuck do you think the GM's responsibilities entail? It's the same bullpen as last year, basically, minus the best closer in baseball. We tried to throw a Band-Aid on him with Kimbrel, which everybody fucking hated.
And he's been great
in spring training. In spring training, everybody had the pitchforks and saying like he was going to be gone within a month. They were going to DFA him within a month. And now same people are tweeting, "Oh, I don't trust anybody more than him or Cano or whoever you want to throw in there." So it's ridiculous. And again, it goes back to the point where I think we ended like 8th in our bullpen ERA last year, or 7th in our bullpen ERA last year. We're currently 8th as of last week. It's probably gone up from this weekend from that catastrophe on Saturday. But I mean, it hasn't been as bad statistically as it's felt. And I think it goes back to what Hyde has been saying. The bullpen is not leaving runners stranded as well as they did last year, which, yeah, that could be a problem, could be an issue, but I still think we're very, very early on. We haven't played ourselves out of the playoffs, as Brian would say. We're half game back. He's still messing with the lineup. Everybody was up in arms about the lineup against the lefty the other night, and they put up 7 in the second. So shut the hell up. The guy's still tinkering. Like, everything is going to be – it's year to year. Like, he's still messing with the defense. He's still messing with the lineup. He's messing with the bullpen to see who's going to be best in certain situations. It's not just going to be the same cut and dry as last year. It's not going to be like, Mariano Rivera in the 9th. We know that every single time. It's just not going to be that. It's going to be different for each person each year. So
I think Brooksy needs to go to a rage room and just beat the shit out of something.
You know those people you can pay to like take a sledgehammer to their old car or something. You need to do that.
It's just like some of the blind leading the blind on Orioles Twitter sometimes it just drives me nuts. And you sit there and you watch it and you're just like, I mean, we have plenty of friends who didn't play baseball, right? But are very, very educated when it comes to baseball. And like, you can hear that when you talk to them.
Yeah.
All 3 of us have played advanced levels and coached advanced levels of baseball. Like, we've been around the game for our entire lives. We know it inside and out. And to think that, like, why we don't question Brandon Hyde or Elias on a lot of stuff, because why would we? That's so ignorant. Those guys have forgotten more about baseball than we have ever learned, just because they're doing it at the professional level now, and it's a whole different animal. And you, as a Twitter fucking thumb artist, trying to make your point because stats this, and then you need to have a feel for the game. Like, you've never felt the game before, so shut the fuck up. Like, you've never.
It's the ebbs and flows of a baseball season. Baseball seasons are so long. It is April. Like Brooke says, you don't want to peak in April. You don't want to peak in April. He's tinkering with the lineup. He's still trying to figure things out. Look, we've built a sustainable future just based on the fact that our lineup is dominant and our top 2 pitchers are dominant. Our bullpen's probably going to blow some games, but guess what? Who cares? It's April. We're going to be fine. Just get us in the tournament at the end of the year. And if our bullpen needs work come June, July, when the trade deadline runs around, then we'll work on it. And I have every belief in Elias and Rubenstein and co to do that. I've never felt
there
this
might be
good
somebody in the
Orioles
minors
as an organization. And we're going to talk about the Ravens a little bit later. We have a draft coming up. I'm as confident in the Orioles organization making good decisions now as I am in Eric DaCosta and Ozzie Newsome and the Ravens organization making good picks in the draft and finding talent and potential starters down in the 4th round. It feels great. It's a great time to be a Baltimore sports fan. And if you're on Twitter complaining all the time, then you need to find something better to do, because just like, come on, guys, like, we're 14-7. Remember 5 years ago when Rio Ruiz was getting 150 starts at third base? Like, what the fuck are you complaining about?
I remember Rodrigo Lopez. Being our ace. And that guy couldn't clean a car, and he was our starting pitcher for opening day.
And Daniel Cabrera
threw gas.
Yeah, he just didn't know where the hell it was going. He might have taken down the Key Bridge with his pitch.
I remember Daniel Cabrera had to start a game in the NL. We were playing interleague play, and this is when interleague play you didn't play nearly as much, and he got in that bat, and he put the bat on his shoulder, took 3 pitches, and walked right back to the dugout. He wasn't even competitive in the at bat. He had no intention of staying in that batter's box.
Yeah, I know. And speaking of some of these Twitter warriors, there were some of the same people saying, like, calling for their jobs because Holiday didn't make the team or hasn't been brought up yet. We're losing their freaking mind. Like we said in the beginning podcasts, like, he's going to come up. He's going to be fine. Now he's up. People are like, oh, my God, maybe you should have had more time. The same people who said calling for their job not to bring him up. And I'm like, you guys are just ridiculous, man. Like, it is unbelievable. So
people need to complain, and I'm not gonna be a complainer about the complainers. What I'll say about Jackson Holiday, to get on the topic of him, is he consistently getting behind in counts, and when you're behind in counts, then you start fishing, or getting what I like to call out swings. When you're down 0-2, you're chasing pitches. He needs to be better at the plate in regards to what he is swinging or taking. Because right now, if you're down 0-2, I mean, you're on the you're a defensive hitter, and we can't have that.
It seemed like this weekend
he's had some better at bats, better at bats recently, at least, and getting some barrels.
He's had better at bats. It seems like a lot of pitchers so far are kind of working fastballs high and in, and off speed low and away, which makes a lot of sense. But it seems like when he's making contact, he's kind of fishing and like kind of doing that ass out ground ball to second base thing on like change ups away a lot, and then they'll run a fastball up on the hands, and he just can't catch up to it. But look, he's 20 years old. He's a kid. He's got to learn, and he's going to go through this stuff. Yeah, he's 1 for 30 so far. Obviously, it's not ideal situation, but he's got all the talent in the world, and he's got 38 major league at bats. Let's let him get to 100 and maybe make a judgment on him then. You know,
I'd be upset if he was costing us games. He's not costing us games.
No.
He's getting some good reps in. He's starting to get better at bats. He's barreling some balls. The one thing I would like to see, like, so his eye is obviously good, and then like once he gets it and works the count too far, it seems like he starts guessing a little bit, and he'll get fooled on a fastball down the middle every once in a while for no reason, which is odd.
That happened yesterday against the lefty.
Yeah. I wish he would. I kind of want to see him like go up and look for something that he can put barrel on and ambush somebody at the beginning of an at bat. He hasn't done. I mean, he's tried it a couple times, but I mean, I just want him to sit dead red one time and be like, all right, fastball. If I see fastball where I can get a barrel on it in the zone, like I'm swinging at it first pitch, like trying to hit something hard somewhere. With that being said,
unless he's in a situation where we need to get a run in, why don't you just go up and go like, look, I'm not swinging anything less on the inner half or the outer half, whatever. Pick a space on the plate.
Yeah.
Go up and be like, I'm not swinging unless it's there. And if you strike out, fuck it, you strike out. But this all changes based on the situation of the game. But if you're in the 9-hole and you got no one on, fuck it, just go out there and be like, I'm swinging the inner half, and I'm just going to try to, pelt something.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The problem with him right now is that Cowser and Westberg are right in front of him getting on base every freaking at bat. It seems like Cowser and Westberg are just getting hits every at bat, and so he's always coming up with guys on base. It's crazy.
How good do we look not trading Westberg? Holy shit.
I mean, he looks fucking amazing. He looks great. He looks great. He's always coming up with timely hits. He's making every routine play at third base, and he's making some great plays at third base as well. He just looks like a set it and forget it playing third base all year.
Excellent mustache. And an excellent mustache. You've got to go with that, all right? I mean,
Gunner's mustache is looking pretty good right now, too, to be honest with you. We got some good mustaches on the team.
Oh, hell yeah.
We do.
We should have traded for Dylan Cease. We could have had so many mustaches.
Yeah. I guess back to Jackson a little bit. I mean, I remember Gunner even said, like, his problem when he first came up, he was like, I just feel like he goes, I don't think I was aggressive enough. So that's back to what Brian was saying. Pick a third, pick an inner third or an outer third, sit on it and just try to hit something hard on the barrel somewhere. Who cares if you line out? But like I said, he's had some good at bats here in the last couple games that he's played in. So it's going to break through here soon.
It seems like it is
at every level.
It seems like the last 3 or 4 games. Now I know we had that debacle the one day, but it seems like situational hitting is really coming around for the Orioles. Getting guys over, sack flies, shit like that. So I can see the beginnings of clicking. I know that's a weird term, a weird statement, but I can begin to see it coming together.
Again,
I want to we gave sorry, real quick, Brooks. We gave a little bit of flowers to Cole Irvin, but I want to give him flowers. Sorry for the rant last week, Cole. 6 2/3 scoreless, 5-0 win yesterday. Good for you, man. Keep doing that. Keep shoving it in my face. Look, if you want the ball when you have 80 pitches and you just walk the guy,
do that.
Now you've proven that you can get the guy out. So I like that. I like that.
Well, he was again making good pitches and hitting his spots, whereas he wasn't the other game, which was my issue.
Yeah. And look, he's our fifth starter. He's trying to get as many starts as he can. We're going to talk about Bradish here in a second. Maybe potentially coming back in a month or whatever. But good for Cole Irvin. I want to give him his flowers. Great start yesterday, and we needed it. It looks like Austin Hayes has an injured calf. He was unavailable for the game yesterday. There's a lot of talk. People think that he might just go on the 10-day IL. He might need it anyway. He might need a little bit of a reset mentally anyway, so it wouldn't be a bad time. In this case, I would imagine we would bring up Kierstead or Stowers. Kierstead has 10 home runs. I think he leads the minor leagues right now, so I don't know. I mean, it's very tempting. If speculation, obviously, that Austin Hayes would go on the IL. We don't have that information yet, but if he does, would you guys rather see Kierstead or Stowers?
I wouldn't. 6 half dozen. Talk to me. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pick
Either
one.
way.
Pick one. And I'd love. I mean, we'll see if we keep Ramirez or not. I'm sure we're going to give him another couple chances, but I'd love to see Povich get a start against the A's.
Yeah.
Povich from Double-A all the way up, huh?
I'm with Brooks on this one. I think that's a great call. Go out there and
easy one
out of a terrible team. And I'd like to see that.
Talking about Twitter Warriors, Twitter Warriors were coming after our heads when we traded Trey Mancini and Jorge Lopez a couple years ago. The two relative unknowns that we traded Jorge Lopez for, by the way, are Yenier Cano, who was the best 8th inning pitcher in baseball last year, and Cade Povich, who is he's been a bona fide stud in the minor leagues this year. We traded Jorge Lopez, who absolutely collapsed down the stretch 2 years ago for the Twins, and came back last year because the Twins couldn't wait to get rid of him. So this is what your Twitter ranting is going to get you. It's going to get you looking like an idiot, and it's going to get you on that freezing cold takes account on Twitter.
The fact that you think that you know more than these guys, like, it just bothers me. Like, if they've proven that this is a bad team, and we're just getting all these bad players, like, okay, maybe you got, but like that has not happened. So it's just really, that's what's really been bugging me. It's really been grinding my gears.
Enjoy the highs of the baseball season.
I don't pay attention to any of that shit. I don't need to make a hot take or anything. Like, I don't need to talk about LeBron or Dak Prescott's contract. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I love my Orioles. I'm a realist. I'm not a superficial turd.
I think we've talked about the Orioles enough major league level. I want to shine a light on the minor leagues. Bradish had his second rehab start. His first one was in Double-A Bowie. His second one was in Triple-A Norfolk. I think they were in Jacksonville playing. 3 1/3, 6 hits, 4 earned, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. So not as great as his first outing, but like we said earlier, we were talking, it's to be expected. This is spring training for him. So he's working on stuff, and we really just hoping that his arm stays intact and his elbow is not hurting him after the starts. That's the most important thing now, as is with John Means.
It's not just working on stuff. It's also building up stamina. Just being able to work through 80 pitches, 100 pitches, wherever he's at right now. Because it's very different from throwing live throwing live, throwing a bullpen, long tossing, like game reps are much different. So this is basically like his ramp up as far as like seeing how far he can go, getting his stamina under him. So that's what I'm more concerned about. I mean, do you know how many pitches he threw? I mean, I know he's 3 1/3, but 6.64 runs. He could have been up closer to 80 anyway.
I will look that up while we discourse here.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I mean, also with
64 pitches.
Okay, so he's.
Yeah, they're probably hanging around 60 to 70 pitches, I would imagine, for now, and then ramp up to 80, ramp up to 90, that kind of thing. That's how this kind of thing works.
Yeah, and then once it gets to like 90, then they'll probably bring him up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also with Hayes having whatever this calf tightness is that they're calling it, I mean, this could have just made, hopefully, made Hyde's decision a little easier with keeping Cowser out there. Because, I mean, that was going to be a tough call here for a little while. But, I mean, Cowser's getting to the point now with –
You cannot bench the Moo Man. You bench the Moo Man, I'm coming after you, Brandon Hyde.
Dude, him and Westberg, like you said, him and Westberg seem like you just can't take him out of the lineup.
It's crazy. And they're batting 6 and 7. It's like we have a whole nother top of the order, like starting with Mullins, Cowser, and Westberg. It's like another 1, 2, 3. It's amazing. The best lineups always have this like dichotomy. I've always thought of you have your top guys up top, and then you have another level of guys. I think it's been great so far. Basically, we have 2 1 through 4s. I don't struggling, but
stop using the word dichotomy on this podcast, please. But
because you don't understand it, you don't know what it means.
I can't even spell
it. I got a question.
Yeah.
Is Santander hurt?
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it because he was walking back from first pretty gingerly the other day, and then he hit 3 doubles. And then he hit a triple the next day. So it seems like he's all right.
He looks he just looks gimpy all the time.
I think that's just kind of how he is.
Yeah.
So is he
– He's our player to watch.
I know. I don't love watching him in right field either. He doesn't do anything wrong.
I don't love watching anybody in right field. Santander and O'Hearn. I texted the other day. O'Hearn's like watching the circus in right field. He gets the plays done and he works his ass off, but he's just not. He's not a right fielder. He's just not.
I know. I just it's tough, man. I wish we could throw like Stowers or even Hayes out there and have them get DH for it.
Cowser, not only at the plate, but defensively has looked a lot better than I thought he was. I was kind of thinking he was like a below average to average kind of left fielder. He's looked pretty good, I would say, in the outfield so far this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. We got three games at home. 3 games in Anaheim against the Halos, and then we come back home for 3 against the A's and 4 against the Yankees. So big 4-game set against the Yankees coming up next week. We'll see. We'll see a little bit of them. Aaron Judge has been getting booed out of Yankee Stadium. Have you guys seen this? Yeah, he went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts the other night. He got booed out of the stadium. It's ridiculous. Yankees fans are fucking morons. Aaron Judge. Oh. The guy who had 63 fucking home runs like 2 years ago.
Also,
took a golden sombrero home.
Did you see the present they got for?
The present they got for who?
The announcer, blanking on his
Sterling.
name.
John Sterling. Yeah.
A fucking flat screen TV.
A flat screen TV? Was it a plasma? What?
They literally came out of the dugout with like an 83-inch LG flat screen that they looked like they ran to Target and picked up right before the game because they forgot they were honoring him before the game.
Still had the box and wrappers on it and stuff, probably.
They did. Yes.
They got him a TV?
Yes. Thank you for your service. Thank you for 30-some years of service.
The Orioles got David Ortiz a better gift, and it was a phone.
That was awesome when he blew up that bullpen phone. They gave it to him on his last day. That was amazing.
A TV?
Oh man,
That's terrible.
Yeah,
it was bad, dude. It's like, man, how do you? That's how you honor the guy. And the guy, he's probably sitting there like, yeah, I've got 5 or 6 TVs. I don't need another. I can go buy my own $3,000 TV if I want to. But I mean,
thanks for 34 years of service. Here's a TV. We got you an LG.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very meaningful, very thoughtful, very meaningful gift right there.
Before we move on from baseball to golf, I want to introduce a new segment. It's called That's a Shame. Anthony Rendon, 10-day DL for discomfort. That's a shame. And that's the end of our new segment. That's a shame. Fuck you, Anthony Rendon. Hate you.
I love this segment.
All right, Brian, you got. I already did my. That's a shame. Is the Yankees fucking gift giving?
I wish I would have known about this. I needed that's a shame.
Anything off the top of the head.
How about this? Just off the top of the head. Every other fucking golfer to segue into golfing because that's a shame.
Yeah,
Scotty
good one.
Scheffler
Yeah, that's a shame. That is a fucking shame. Scotty Scheffler.
It's a shame to be a professional golfer right now because you're never gonna win.
Scotty Scheffler has started in 10 golf tournaments in this calendar year. These are his finishes in those 10 golf tournaments. T5, T17. Wow, terrible start. T6, T3, T10. Win, win, T2, win, win. He has won 4 of his last 5 tournaments, including the Players' Championship, including Bay Hill at Arnold Palmer, including the Masters, including this elevated event at Harbor Town and Hilton Head. He is absolutely fucking demolishing everyone. He's not winning these tournaments by 1 stroke. He's winning all of them by 3, 4, 5 strokes against the best golfers in the world. Sahith Theegala came in second, 3 shots behind. Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, top 5, 4 or 5 shots behind. He's just completely dominating. The craziest stat I saw before I let you guys talk here, sorry, I know I'm ranting a little bit, but Scotty's lead in the world ranking, his points in the world ranking, he has a bigger gap between him and number 2, Rory McIlroy, than Rory has over number 784, Tiger Woods.
Oh my God.
The gap between 1 and 2 is bigger than the gap between 2 and 784. That is how much better he is than everybody else right now. This has not happened. This is not normal. This is ridiculous.
I saw he's going to break his own record from 2022, which is if you're wondering, is the record. I think he's got 2,000 some points over the closest whatever
FedEx Cup points.
But yeah, he has the record from 2022, and I forget what that is, and it's still not even close. Also, RBC Heritage finished up today. Like you said, he just won that. He should have won it by 4 strokes. He bogeyed the last hole he was just like, I'm up by so many. He just chipped it close, and like he if he really was playing that hole hard, he would not have bogeyed that hole. Yeah. You could just see that he kind of gave that up, and he was like, yeah, I'm
winning by 5. This is over, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first bogey he had the entire tournament. He had 0 bogeys. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Now, is this good for golf?
I think so.
It is, because the game of golf grew at least double, if not triple, when Tiger went on his run in the early 2000s. So I would say this is going to bring more eyeballs to golf whenever there's a dominant athlete like this. It may not be as good for the product because it sucks when everyone's kind of just playing for second place. Yeah. It's going to dishearten a lot of guys, really.
See, I'm going to go against you on this one. Tiger was a different animal, no pun intended. 1, being African American. 2, he was more bombastic, and he was electric. Scotty Scheffler is a choir boy, and if you ask my mom who Tiger Woods is, she'll know. You ask my mom who Scotty Scheffler is, and she'll probably think it's a car salesman down the road. So,
well, look, if he continues playing golf like this, he's going to be a name in everyone's household, like Phil Mickelson or Tiger Woods, for sure.
Well,
He's 27 years old, and he just won his 10th tournament on the PGA Tour. There are dozens, hundreds of veterans on the PGA Tour still grinding that haven't won two tournaments.
And he looks 42, and he's 27.
Same with John Rahm. John Rahm's 29. He looks like he's in his mid-40s. He's
John Rahm like his whole life. John Rahm. He's getting big.
Well, he's got 400 million reasons to get big.
A lot of cheese-balls, that money.
Other notable finishes in this golf tournament. Sahith Theegala finishes, actually, I think solo second at -16. Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay, both in the top 5. Brian Harmon and Russell Henley, who I was on hard last week at Augusta, both showed out in this tournament. Both got T12s. Good to see Ricky get back up there in the top 20. Ricky and Schauffele finish at T18. Spieth and McIlroy finish at -7 and -6 respectively in the top 40. But McIlroy was in the top 20 basically this whole tournament, really in the top 10 this whole tournament, and then had just a complete meltdown on Sunday. His game
sounds familiar.
All kinds of out of whack. His game
JT played well for the first time in a while.
Yeah, JT's playing well. That's good for golf. We need as many stars as possible. But yeah, like me and Brian, or like we were all talking about earlier, it's crazy. Like this run that Scheffler's on. I mean, it just feels like every tournament, like it's 4-1 for him to win the tournament, and it feels like I'm an idiot for not betting it every week because it just feels like he's going to win. What's
the next major? Is that
That would be British? The PGA Championship at Valhalla in Louisville, Kentucky, which we also we actually have tickets for, but we have to sell them. We're going to be in Hilton.
Anybody needs tickets? I got tickets.
Needs tickets. Face value to Thursday at Valhalla. If anybody wants to go.
What do you guys got going on? I saw you guys were selling.
We'll be in Hilton Head for a family vacation.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nelly Corda.
Aberg, by the way. Yeah, Nelly Corda, 5th straight, another dominant figure in golf. Nelly Corda, if you're not familiar, LPGA's hottest young star. 5th straight tournament on the LPGA Tour. It's only happened twice. Only 2 females have ever done it. Nancy Lopez in the 70s and Annika Sorenstam did it in the early 2000s, but she just won her second major championship, the Chevron Championship, yesterday. And yeah, she won it to win her 5th straight tournament on the tour. So golf is in the hands of 2 absolute dominant studs right now, both on the male and female side. It's turning into a Roger Federer, Serena Williams kind of thing. And we'll see how that goes. Maybe that'll grow the game. Maybe, like Brian said, just because Scotty Scheffler's got his kind of ho-hum Joe Flacco demeanor, maybe he won't emerge into that star. But if he keeps golfing the way he is, he's certainly going to be a star in the world of golf, at least.
He's fun to watch play golf, that's for sure.
That's 100%. And he's so uncharacteristic. He plays the game so uncharacteristically. It's really amazing.
Kids are going to start trying to practice doing that the Scotty shuffle when he swings.
Yeah, his little feet move. I don't think anybody should practice that because it's impossible to replicate.
Yeah, maybe I'll try it out today when I go to the range.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you. You're going to tear an ACL.
Yeah, let me know.
Caps lost opener, the series opener to the Rangers, 4-1. The first period they held in there. It was 0-0, but the second period, I think the Rangers scored 3 in the first 10 minutes. It was pretty rough to watch. I watched most of it, not all of it. Game 2 is tomorrow night at 7. Do we think the Caps have any chance in this series realistically?
No.
Yeah. No.
Nope. That was like you said. That was rough. That was rough to watch. And I think we knew that. We knew this going into it.
Yeah, there's no critique needed. Then no, they don't. I mean, yes, do they have a chance? Of course, but realistically, it's over. I mean, if they get a game, they steal a game, cool, it's over.
Yeah, it was rough. They're just better than us at everything. The Rangers, and they won the President's Trophy. So.
They are so slow. You can see it when you watch the Rangers skate around them. The Caps are just slow, and I don't. There's no critique needed. You don't got to get into line shifts and all this other bullshit. They're slow. That's it. Yeah. Just get over it.
Yeah, unless the goalie just goes completely crazy for the rest of the series, there's no way, no avenue for us to pull it out. I don't think. But we're still going to root for him. We're still going to watch the games and hope for the best. Hopefully, Ovi can get some more playoff goals.
Yeah.
Before we go into the NFL draft, I have an NFL draft related trivia question for the day.
I like this.
Okay, I'm not going to give you the conference of the year because I think it'll give it away. If you need it, then I will give it to you as a hint. This QB who won the Heisman Trophy, won a national title, and was 2-time Conference Offensive Player of the Year, was not drafted and never played a snap in the NFL because he was not considered good enough to play. Who is it?
Got it. I'll give Brooks a chance. I know the school. Nebraska.
No.
Really?
I mean, unless I'm crazy. Who's your answer from Nebraska? Because it's not him.
Now you've completely thrown my mind into a tizzy. I have no idea.
It might be another. There might be another. I'll. You want me to give you the year?
Yeah. I don't want to say 1996.
The draft was 2005. He was not drafted.
Is it McCarron? No, not McCarron. It's one of it's the Alabama quarterback though, isn't it?
It is not Alabama.
Damn.
Won two national titles.
He won the Heisman in 2003, and
Jason White. Jason White.
Jason White is the answer.
Whoa! See ya.
Jason White is the answer. Other quarterbacks drafted in 2005: Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jason Campbell, as Rodgers just runs off the screen. But yeah, Jason White won a national title, won a Heisman, won Conference Player of the Year twice at Oklahoma, and did not get drafted and never played a snap in the NFL.
Yes.
How crazy is that? Jason White.
Nuts.
I'm so proud of myself.
He played in 2 Orange Bowls, a Cotton Bowl, a Rose Bowl, and a Sugar Bowl.
Oh, man.
Why is he not playing like every game?
I can't remember my own social security number, but I can remember Jason White.
Yep. You know what's crazy is that they lost 2 national championship games while he was there as well. They lost to LSU and they lost to USC. They got smoked by USC.
Oh, USC beat the shit out of them. I remember also random knowledge. I remember Nick Lachey being there from 98 Degrees because he's a big
Nick Lachey. Jessica Simpson's former squeeze.
Chicken in the sea.
But yeah, I figured we had the NFL draft coming up this week. It's Thursday night, and so I figured I would do a little NFL draft related trivia there.
Awesome.
I was looking through some stuff the other day. I'm sure there might be a couple other guys that meet that criteria, but yeah, Jason White, the guy I always forget about.
Yeah. Is he coaching now?
I wonder if he played.
Well, that's Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel was he's coaching now.
White owns and operates Jason White Companies, which is like a Oklahoma State memorabilia store. And he also owns a shoe store called The Athlete's Foot, which is a great name for a shoe store.
That's a great name.
And yeah, he's got a bronze statue on the campus at University of Oklahoma. How crazy is that?
I mean, did he play like Canadian football or something? That's nuts that he never.
No, he's got like no professional football career. He received a tryout from the Chiefs in 2005. He signed with the Titans as an undrafted free agent for 2 years, but never made it off the practice squad and never made an attempt to play later because of his he had knee issues.
Who's the Nebraska guy who won the Heisman and then didn't play in the NFL? He retired before he even got out of training camp. Not Scott. I want to say Scott Frost, but that's wrong. He won the Heisman.
Eric Crouch.
Eric Crouch. There you go. Eric Crouch.
Eric Crouch. Yeah, he played in the CFL and the UFL, but never played in the NFL.
They wanted to make him a wide receiver. They didn't want him to play quarterback.
Yeah, that was 97. He won the national championship. In 2001, he won the Heisman. It's a guy I've heard of, but yeah, I don't have huge recollection.
That could have been an answer.
Drafted by the Rams.
We got drafted, so we got drafted.
Yeah. As far as this year's draft goes, I've done a little bit of research, not a ton. I think everyone knows Caleb Williams is going number 1. He's 200 to 1 to 200 to 1 to not go, or to go number 1 basically minus 20,000. So he's going number 1. The real draft starts at number 2. It's either going to be Drake May or Jaden Daniels. Drake May, big prototypical NFL style quarterback from UNC with a huge arm, or Jaden Daniels, who's more of the Lamar Jackson playmaker, improviser kind of type from LSU, who had just a huge breakout season at LSU. The Washington Footballs pick at number 2. Who do you guys think that they'll go with here?
I think they'll go with Drake May.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of smoke screens around Drake May right now. You've seen him go. They were talking about him going in the second round. People are talking shit about him to make.
There's no way.
Well,
there's no way. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think I texted you guys like when those odds moved out of nowhere that one night. That was really weird.
Their offense is set up for a stand in the pocket quarterback, not a Jalen Daniels run around, make plays with your feet. So I really and that also goes for the Patriots. Maybe I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's Jalen Daniels because it would bring some excitement to the DMV. But I just think it's going to be Drake May.
I'm gonna say Daniels just because I think that's the right. We don't know what their offense is going to be yet for either team. I don't think just because they got new coaches.
Yeah, new coordinators. Cliff Kingsbury
as
is there now.
As of last year, yeah. One guy I could see like a sneaky pick is Penix. But I think he's one of those guys. I think he's one of those guys that's going to drop and end up being a pretty damn good quarterback in the NFL.
That Penix, from everything everything I hear and I read, is he's a great person. He's a good quarterback. That medical scares the shit out of everyone because of the 2 ACL tears.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. These quarterbacks, or really any position, if you have medicals with like Michael Penix does, these people can drop like flies in the NFL draft. We've seen quarterbacks get reached for a lot in the first round of NFL drafts, especially because if you draft them in the first round, you get that option for the 5th year, which is another contract controlled year, team control year with a lot less money. But yeah, I think you have to be really convinced that he's the guy. But I do believe Vegas has the over-under set at 4.5 quarterbacks, and the over is juiced minus 250, which means they believe 5 quarterbacks will go.
Hammer the over. Hammer it. I think 6 are going. I think someone comes back into the second round or in the first round and gets Penix. Well, just like the Ravens did with Lamar.
So the those top three guys, Daniels, May, and Williams, those guys aren't making it out of the top 5 no matter what. We pretty much know that. McCarthy's
going 4 or 5.
McCarthy could go number 8 or he could go number 28. I wouldn't be surprised. And same thing with Bo Nix and Michael Penix. I could see Bo Nix and Michael Penix going in the first round, or I could see them both going in the 3rd round.
I'll even make a bet with you guys. I bet you quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow. I'll bet that. I think Marvin Harrison's going 4 to the Cardinals.
No chance. I think he's going to the Chargers. I think a Michigan coach is drafting an Ohio State wide receiver at number 5. I think J.J. McCarthy goes number 4 to whoever the hell comes up and gets him.
You think the Cardinals trade out of that pick at number 4 then?
I do.
Trade back?
I do. Yeah. I think they trade back. Yeah. I think they trade back.
We don't know.
I think the Broncos and Raiders come up and get J.J. McCarthy. The Cardinals don't lose much in that. And they probably pick up a first-round pick next year or maybe a second-round pick this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like in the top 10, it seems like the Titans are going to stick and pick that tackle, Joe Walt. That seems like That's pretty likely going to happen. It seems like Brock Bowers, the tight end out of Georgia, is going to go in the top 12-ish picks. But I agree with you, Brian. I think somebody's going to trade up, whether it be the Vikings, whether it be the Raiders, are going to trade up into the top 10 and try to get McCarthy. But after McCarthy, I can see Bo Nix and Penix falling. If they don't go anytime in the before the end of the first round, I can see them dropping really to the third, fourth round. I know a lot of people like Bo Nix, but I don't know. They're older guys, and they have a lot of question marks about them.
Bo Nix looks like a movie theater quarterback. I'm sorry. He looks like he's right out of Friday Night Lights. But who do you think the best player in the draft is? Period. Any position.
Marvin Harrison.
Okay.
Probably. If I had to guess,
I'm going Brock Bowers.
Yeah. I mean, look, Brock Bowers is a stud. He, at times for Georgia last year, looked like he was the best player in college football.
Yeah.
For stretches. And
athletic,
I mean, if you can get that Kelsey kind of guy, it's just tight ends, man. They don't make that much of an impact unless they are the best tight end in the league. So you have to know, you have to be convinced that is the guy, and we're going to run our offense through them, which is why the Falcons have gotten so much crap the last 4 years, because Kyle Pitts was drafted number 4 overall, and they don't use him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know. I just think it would be risky trading up. What do you guys want the Ravens to do at number 30? What do you expect us to do? What do you want us to do? I would imagine we're going to trade back.
Yeah, I don't think we make a pick in the first round. I would like O-line. But it depends on what is there. What I do know is they're going to make the right decision. I know that.
They'll make the best decision. Yep.
But I would like them to do O-line. If not that, then you got to go corner, because we have deficiencies there. Marlon Humphrey, we can see, is kind of breaking down a little bit, which stinks. Yeah. So I would think either O-line or corner.
Yeah.
And if we draft Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid, come on. I mean, we got a shirt made right there, dude.
I don't know if
Easy
Kool-Aid's going to
merch.
make it to 30. I think he's going to be going. He's going to be going in the early 20s, I would imagine. There's a couple of corners in the top of the draft. Brooks, what do you like? What do you want the Ravens to do?
I honestly don't know. I don't think we're picking in the first round. Obviously, O-line I think is the most important right now.
I agree,
but I don't know what we're gonna do. I think I try to figure it out every year, and every year I'm wrong. So, but yeah, I just looking at the team from my perspective, it seems like that's the most glaring issue, was just with the age of our offensive line and the injuries and people that have left. But I really don't know. I mean, I could also see them going wide receiver first or cornerback first. It's hard to say. I don't know.
I think. Go ahead, Brian.
With the addition of Derrick Henry, and not that Derrick Henry is a small back, because obviously he's completely different. He's massive. I want to keep him as upright as possible and take as less beating as possible. So I want to go O-line. Just give him running holes. Give him the freedom to do what Derrick Henry does, because you invested in him, and you invested in him for 2 years. Get an O-lineman, and O-lineman usually lasts for 10 to 12 years if you get the right one.
Yeah. So right now, really the only positions we know are Tyler Linderbaum is going to be the starting center, and Ronnie Stanley is going to try to play left tackle as much as he can. But outside of that, we don't know who's going to play either guard position. And we don't know who's going to play right tackle, because we lost Zeitler, we lost Moses, and we have another whole cast of characters to put in there. So, look, we got 3 offensive line spots really we need to fill. And I'd imagine they're going to be very aggressive in attacking that in this draft. But there's a lot of stud receivers in this draft. And if one falls to them, I wouldn't be surprised if they just say, fuck it and take it. We're going to be losing Bateman.
We're saying all this shit, and they're going to trade up, and they're going to pick someone at 10.
Have we traded up ever? I can't think of a time we've ever traded up. Lamar, yeah, but we took a pick in that first round, and then we traded back in. So yeah, you're right.
No,
we did trade back up for Lamar, but
We traded up a couple times. We traded up for Lamar, obviously. I think we traded up for Suggs.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I think we traded up to like number 9 and 10 to get Suggs. Yeah. But the Ravens are notorious.
Not a Ravensy move. Yeah.
No. They gotta love somebody so much that they need to come.
And they've got to be convinced that somebody's going to take that person before.
I don't think this is a good O-line draft. It's more wide receiver and
interior O-line. No, there's a lot of
Apparently, there's a ton of tackles.
There's a ton of tackles that are later, but most of them are projects, or they don't have a lot of experience, whatever, or they could, potentially shift into guard, which is fine. I'd be okay with taking a tackle that's more NFL, like projects more in the NFL as a guard, because then you have flexibility. A guy who has experience playing tackle in college, who can play guard maybe at the NFL level. And like I said, we had 2 holes. We have both of our guards we need to fill. So I'm okay with taking kind of a project tackle and let
this is off the rundown. Off the rundown. I mean, running backs and wide receivers are a dime a dozen now. Finding good O linemen is extremely difficult, it seems like, because of the way college football offenses are run, it's spreads and all that stuff. Finding O linemen now is like a diamond in the rough. And so I really think if you can find a good O lineman, I mean, this is why Iowa and Nebraska, and they put out all these O line guys, Wisconsin. Yeah. You can't find these guys anymore.
Yeah, the teams that run the ball.
Yeah,
there's just not many of them.
I've heard a ton of coaches and GMs say over the last couple of years how hard it's become to find them, just because the way that they're coached, like you said, the way that they're coached in college now is just way different. And I get whoever's coaching over at Iowa is the guy. So
Kurt Ferentz,
you can pull somebody from there. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's going to be mostly offensive heavy in the first round. It doesn't seem like there's a ton of top end defensive guys, other than there's a couple edge rushers. Jared Verse, Dallas Turner come to mind, and then the corners Terrion Arnold, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Nate Wiggins come to mind. But I think it's going to be mostly offense in the first round this year. Do you guys think any of these big time receivers that are still holding out for contracts, you think that any of them get moved on draft day? It seems like that's been a trend the last couple of years. AJ Brown getting moved on draft day a couple of years ago. Devontae Adams getting moved around draft day a couple of years ago. You guys see Ayuk, Jefferson, Higgins, any of these guys getting moved around draft day?
Nah, they're maybe Higgins. I don't see the other two. They're too much of a commodity to their respective teams.
Yeah.
I actually don't think Higgins now, because Dustin talked me out of that one. I did see that AJ Brown just deleted all his Eagles stuff and just put a picture of Tom Brady on his Instagram. All that bullshit that happens all the time.
Like, what? Is their agent telling them to do this?
I could see. I don't know. I could see Adams being moved. If there's somebody, I mean, what's his name? Pierce really loves one of the quarterbacks, like coached him at, or has a connection to him somehow. But I don't think they're going to be able to get up high enough to get him, nor do I think it's worth giving up Devontae Adams. But yeah, I think there's potential, but I don't think it's going to be. It's
not the story of draft day.
It might be one. It might be one.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I think the draft is always super exciting. Me and Brian used to talk about this all the time in Baltimore. When you used to come into Abbey Burger during mock draft season, you used to talk about how you fucking hated mock draft so much because nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. Nobody knows what's going on, really. Look, we can speculate we can speculate all we want, but we're going to be, obviously there's going to be a lot of shit that happens that nobody was expecting. So yeah, we'll take it all with a grain of salt, but look, these are the guys that we're expecting to go on the top. We're expecting Daniels to go. We're expecting May to go. We're expecting Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams. These are all going to be top 10 guys, we would think.
And I just really don't like all the comparisons to like Hall of Famers and stuff that they do. I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on these kids. and like they all become busts if they don't live up to their draft comparison, which is completely unfair, to be honest with you. And none of us really know until probably 2 years down the road. So at least, it's not every day that one of these guys gets drafted and they're CJ Stroud. Yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely one of those more frustrating things of the year. Like we're always going to watch because we want to see what our team's doing. But yeah, I mean, it's nobody has a crystal ball. I have no idea if it's the right pick. You can sit there and do like that was a terrible pick. That was a great pick. And you don't know. Who knows?
It's unfair to the kids. And then there are guys whose job specifically is to make sure they draft the right person, and they still fail. So forget it. No one knows what the hell's going on, and everyone's lying about who they're taking, who they don't want, who want. They're all lying. Because they have no reason to tell the truth. I wouldn't tell the truth. Why?
Yeah.
And
it's all a smoke screen.
Yeah. If Brock Purdy gets drafted 6th overall, he's a success story. If he gets drafted as Mr. Irrelevant, all of a sudden, there's 6 guys who are like, well, we had a 3rd round grade on him. Why didn't you fucking take him in the 3rd round?
Why didn't you take him in the 5th round when he was available, you idiots? Like, what's wrong with you? I do want to mention a lot of second generation. A lot of second generation guys in this draft. Jerry Rice's son, Brendan, is in this draft. Ed McCaffrey's son and Christian McCaffrey's brother, Luke McCaffrey. Rice Owl is in this draft. Jeremiah Trotter's son is in this draft. Frank Gore Jr. is in this draft from Southern Miss. So yeah, a lot of big name. Marvin Harrison Jr.
The guy we were just talking about, Sam Alt or whatever. What's his name?
Joe Alt.
Yeah,
Joe Alt.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about like the lineage stuff. That's always it's a really weird that like. Does anybody know anything about Luke McCaffrey? He's not nearly as good.
I know he's like a running back receiver hybrid kind of guy. I think he plays the same kind of way as Christian, but obviously not nearly as talented or well known as player.
One thing I do want to mention that's been bugging me a little bit is Jaden Daniels is. It really just bugs me when agents become a part of the draft process and all this stuff because they really should not be. They should not be involved. Like their name should not be being brought up by anybody in terms of like making Twitter whatever, saying anything on Twitter, saying somebody doesn't want to go somewhere. Their whole purpose is to help out this kid. Jaden Daniels was pretty much slotted to go number 2 until all this bullshit came out about the agent saying that like he was upset about like the whole process about them bringing 12 or however many people out to Topgolf that day when they did their interviews and everything. He just needs to shut the hell up because at that point he's just costing his guy money because these are already pre-slotted, they're getting paid what they're going to get paid. So if he doesn't go number 2, you're just costing him money at that point, and you're making this draft about you. That really bugs me.
I think that's
agents in general tend to rub me the wrong way.
Yeah, I didn't read super into that story. I know what you're talking about, the Topgolf thing, but I heard very limited about that, so I can't really comment. To be completely fair about it. We can touch on Jontay Porter real quick if you guys want. He is banned for life from the NBA. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that, other than Pete Rose. But yeah, bet against his own team, the Raptors. He was purposely tanking. He pulled himself out of games. He had a buddy put like an $80,000 parlay of basically him, all of his stat unders, and then he just pulled himself out of the game randomly. The bookie found whoever took the bet found that it was fishy. They didn't pay it out, and then everything got reported to the NBA. And between January and March, it looks like he's been putting a ridiculous amount of bets against himself against the Raptors, and he got banned.
I think
from
it was
the league for good.
DraftKings. I think it was DraftKings, actually.
Whoever it was.
And it happened twice.
Yeah.
It happened. Hey, what's up? It happened twice. That
Is it your birthday or something? What the fuck was that?
No, it's like the reaction thing for iPhone. You're dumb enough to do it once, right? Put this $80,000 bet on this ridiculous parlay and get this ridiculous payout. And I'm sure that it's some no-name guy that nobody knows who the hell this guy is. He's averaging like 3 points a game or 3 rebounds a game and 6 points a game, whatever it is. He's a nothing. And they're like, how is this the biggest payout of all the NBA bets tonight? And then he did it again within like the same week or two. Yep. It's like, what were you expecting to happen? Like who's betting on this dude to take all these different unders? This guy that nobody knows who the fuck it is. Like how dumb.
The only reason people know who it is because his brother is Michael Porter, who was on the reigning defending champion Denver Nuggets, and is a big part of that team. I feel terrible for Michael Porter because his other brother, I guess last week or maybe last month, also got 6 years in prison, got sentenced to 6 years in prison. I don't know if Jontay Porter is going to end up going to prison over this. It looks like he's going to have some legal repercussions for sure, but he's definitely not going to play another game in the NBA. I feel bad for Michael Porter. What a distraction going into the playoffs for a major piece on the Nuggets.
I mean,
his brothers, not his cousins, his brothers.
Talk about a nightmare for Michael Porter.
Like how there's some damning video out too, like when he like makes a 3 and you can obviously see him like didn't mean to make it.
He was trying to brick it.
Yeah, like he was just like he didn't celebrate. He was just like I don't know. I don't feel bad for.
You guys have anything else you want to talk about on the rundown today? You don't. Yeah, Michael Porter. I feel bad for Michael Porter, but Jontay Porter.
Feel bad for Michael Porter.
Yeah.
Feel bad that he has these distractions going on, but like his brothers sound like a bunch of idiots. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I just wanted to plug that we got an interview tomorrow with my college head coach. He's got some good insight into some analytics and stuff like that. Brian and I will be on that call. Other than that, we got a couple other guests that are lined up here soon that'll be pretty interesting to see. But yeah, sports wise, I think we got pretty much everything until after the draft, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do some reactions to the draft. If the Ravens pick anybody in the first round, which we're not expecting, we might pick somebody at 30. Who knows? That's not going to probably make us make a crazy podcast. What's the word I'm looking for? Emergency podcast. Yeah, we're probably not going to be doing an emergency podcast unless we do something crazy in the draft, which we're not expecting. The Ravens don't generally trade up, but we'll react next week to the weekend of drafting. We have 9 picks in the draft, so there's going to be a lot of people to talk about and a lot of new faces. And yeah, hopefully the Orioles can sweep the Anaheim Angels.
Yeah.
Mike Trout's got 8 home runs, and somehow Marcelo Ozuna's got 9. What a piece of shit that guy is. Yeah, we'll end the.
But before we go, I just want to say one thing. It's completely unsports related. Went to and I hate to be serious at times, but you have to. Went to a viewing yesterday or a celebration of life for a buddy of mine who committed suicide. Talk to people. Always talk to people. One of my favorite parts about this podcast is I get to see my friends. Talk to people. Make sure you take care of yourself. And Jake, you're a good man. Love you, buddy.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, man.
Talk to
Reach
your
out
people,
to your loved
everyone.
ones.
Talk to your people. Make sure they're all right. All right, fellas.
All right, boys.
That's going to do it today. See you, boys.
Brooks, I'll see you tomorrow with Coach.
Sounds good.
Good luck tomorrow. Luckily, unfortunately, I have to work a double, but you guys will kill it, and we'll see you next week. Cheers, fellas.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
Take care.